what's up and welcome to Katy'S Corner. I'm obviously Katy and we're here checking in on all different kinds of people from all around the world. Now my first guest today, his name is Troy Ritchie. He's a Vegas local known as an audience engagement expert. He's the host of the 4 a.m. Daily Wake-Up podcast and the weekly videos on Wednesdays called 2-Minute Whiteboard Wednesday Session. Now, Troy brings a new thought to how entrepreneurs should use and launch their personal brand. And I first met Troy last year, and I thought he'd be perfect for our first guest of our first episode of Katy'S Corner. And so what exactly is an audience engagement expert?
Well, first off, Katy, thank you for having me on your show. Excited to see where this goes. Excited to be the first. Audience engagement expert. I've been in sales for a long time. I've been in entertainment for a long time. And I kind of bring the two together in identifying who your audience is and appropriately engaging them. The sales pitch is dead. I incorporate story selling and a lot of what I do from the selling side. And what I realize is that audience aren't just prospects that you're trying to close a deal on. The principles apply all across different verticals. And my expertise is finding out the message that's going to the particular audience and how to put it into a way that would resonate with that audience.
Definitely, totally does. So you mentioned story selling. What exactly is that?
First off, I didn't come up with the phrase. It was used by a couple of gentlemen that were in Hollywood and pitching movie ideas. And I don't pitch. I live by the pitch-free closing model that I've created. And what I've identified is that, we as buyers control what we buy, how we buy, when we want to buy. And there is so much noise with folks trying to engage their audience. And so instead of just telling a story, story selling still has the purpose of I'm going to appeal a call to action at a particular time. And so you intermix your stories before you make your call to action, as opposed to here's what I do, and here's how I do it, and here's why you should buy my product. You guys should do what I'm asking you to do. Tell a story, and the difference between storytelling and story selling is that call to action that's coming.
Okay, awesome. I love that. It sounds way more enjoyable than being fed any just boring sales pitch from every same old conversation. So that's awesome. So with story selling, I take it you're doing this to help people to make more money. So that being said, what's one thing that your clients could be doing to increase their bottom line?
With this mindset of storytelling or story selling to get something that you'd like. Some have called it tactics and so forth, and there might be some truth to that. As far as working with clients, and the thing is finding out the bottom line. So I work a lot with the Clark County School District. It's one of the worst school districts in the country here in the Las Vegas Valley. And so their bottom line isn't revenue. Their bottom line is encouraging these students that are low hope, high truancy areas to stay in school. So their bottom line is keeping them engaged throughout class. And so for a company, the bottom line is getting down to more dollars and cents and revenue and so forth. So for them, it's not popular with leadership until they start to see how it works. But typically a founder and an entrepreneur, if you can get away from transferring a feeling of, just about yourself and get more into what their needs are. My business coach, Brett McFall, likes to say, paint the picture of the end result. So a lot of my clients that I coach or work with, they don't have, they're just starting a business. They don't have a business name. And I encourage them to create a business name that is about the end result of their clients.
Definitely. That's awesome. Very cool. Well, Now, what we have, I mean, you've mentioned before that you don't want to be a Tony Robbins. However, isn't that kind of what you're doing?
Maybe by accident. I moved to Las Vegas to do film, and I'm going to be launching 4X Entertainment in 2020. So next year, probably late next year.
Mhm.
And my passion has always been film. And I have a project that I'm currently on where I'm working with a client out of Seattle that requires a lot of time, and it is a blast. I'm having such a good time. So incorporating these Whiteboard Wednesday videos is kind of scratching the itch of doing film that I'm going to do later. And the Whiteboard Wednesdays, when they first were launched, there was no real thought of getting into this space of professional development or self-development, mental health. And with my struggles in mental health, dyslexia, ADHD, what I once thought was a struggle, now I realize is not. People have resonated with what I have to say. And, it wasn't the plan to be, I don't call it motivational speaker, but inspirational speaker. It just happened to go that way.
Fell upon your shoulders.
It just, yes. And I'm not a Tony Robbins. If my path was going there where it was a lot of people that were listening to what I had to say, I would give it all up come 2020 to do film. And that's where my passions are. So, great question. I don't know where you got that from, a little insider information or something.
So, I mean, you do a lot of things out here in Vegas. So what are a few of your personal brand personas that you have? I mean, because you mentioned you speaking recently a lot more. So what kind of other personal brand personas do you have?
Well, obviously you've done your research in who I am. The idea behind personal brand personas is one that I feel helps move your audience. So if I have a target audience, I have something to say, whether it's selling, preaching, teaching, I'm going to communicate in a way that will inspire my audience to move towards the call to action. And what I found is that if you're involved in a lot of stuff and doing a lot of stuff, you incorporate a little bit in each of your, when you're engaging an audience. So my primary persona, and everyone's primary persona, should be what pays your bills. That should be your primary focus. Yet in my 20s, I was in a rock and roll band in Independent, and we traveled from Seattle to Virginia, up through Arizona, through California. When I tell these stories of being on the road in the sales setting, it connects with who the audience is, because everyone's thought about, if they were in a band. And I also coach basketball, youth basketball. And so I bring components of that when I'm talking to a particular client. So my persona A is Troy Ritchie. It's around business, sales enablement, entrepreneurship. And then my second persona is Troy Jonathan Ritchie with entertainment. If I grab my guitar and go sing at a coffee shop. And then Coach Troy is my third persona. That I'll have individual audience groups in these personas, and you kind of intermix it, and it just, the authenticity, you increase your results big time.
Awesome. I love that. So you post videos every Wednesday. We mentioned them a little bit before, those Whiteboard Wednesday sessions. Yes. They're fun videos. I'll tag a link down below for everyone to check it out. Now, at the end of every video, you say, "My name is Troy Ritchie, and if you don't know me, you will." Yes. I feel like there's a story behind that. Am I right?
There is. I'm launching a program called Brand You, and I believe that there was a song. You're too young to remember it, but there was a song in the 80s called "Video Killed the Radio Star."
Yes, I've heard of that song. Okay. Yeah.
So my joke is video killed the company brand. With the technology we have with video, everyone should be doing it as a personal brand. And so this idea of me as a personal brand, working with various clients, or maybe I'm an employee, whatnot, that is just a part of getting out there. So because I'm a personal brand, I believe in slogans and taglines. And I've worked with Providence College and Villanova, Columbia, Notre Dame on just really strategic campaigns from their logo out to their audience. So I've always incorporated things. And when I make a lot of outbound calls with the project that I'm on. And a lot of times I leave voicemails as more of a branding technique. And so I always say, my name is Troy Ritchie. And so for Whiteboard Wednesday, when I'm thinking about, okay, what tagline can I end with? The thought came up. I always say, my name is Troy on all these calls. And I thought, maybe somebody that I've called will stumble on one of these videos and connect the dots. That was the initial thought. Now, the second thought was, if you come out guns a-blazing, Tony Robbins style, and you just start just giving some just awesome content, two things are going to happen. One person's going to go watch it and go, this guy's a joke. Who does he think he is? Who does he think he's Tony Robbins? Another person might go, wow, who is this guy? And my hope is that at the time where they're both thinking that, I'm saying, my name is Troy Ritchie, and if you don't know me, you will. It's a lot of fun. I had no idea that I would walk around Seattle and people would come up to me and say, either I know you or you're the if you don't know me guy. It stuck, and I guess it's sticking now. So that's awesome. The story behind that. Yes.
Love it. Oh my goodness. That's super cool. It makes total sense too. Love it. Well, you're a pretty busy man. I mean, all the personas, everything going on, coaching and stuff like that. How do you stay motivated through everything that you do?
Just looking at the end game, film is expensive for one, and two, I'm too old to go back to school and start over in that way, getting a film degree and so forth. And my skill set in engaging an audience, I think, will transfer to the film industry, because my audience will be investors with a lot of money that believe in the cause that I'm telling them, and I can transfer how I feel about some of the projects that we have. So when I think about sitting down with Russell Wilson's people and presenting a story called Just One Game about an athlete that's torn between the business of sports and how he was raised, when I think about sitting down talking to Chris Pratt's people about a movie called Comeback, a middle-aged man that gave up on music many years ago and decides to do an open mic night, and just the night he does an open mic night, there happens to be a Stanley Tucci character that is an agent for a large record deal. And when I think about those moments, that keeps me motivated to stay the course of what I'm doing. And people always say, well, do your film now. And I have a clear plan of how this works out. So just having a clear plan, and I tell that to people in my programs, Brand You and Pitch Free Closing, a PFC Academy, is that when you have your end game and you're going towards that and you're reinforcing it with thought, that is what's going to keep you going every day.
Awesome. Love it. That is super cool. I can't wait for these movies to come out too. I mean, they sound awesome. Oh man, awesome. Well, I mean, you mentioned earlier you had dyslexia, and you view this as a blessing. Yes. How can dyslexia be a blessing?
Well, it depends on the field you're in. I was in the credit department for 7 years. Not really a blessing there, because a ton of numbers. When I was in school growing up, I would check out all the time, and so when I'm an adult now and working with marketing departments or sales, or even just engaging an audience, dyslexia is not just numbers, not flipping numbers. It is, you see everything differently from majority. I think it's 1 out of 5 of us in the country has been that we have some sort of dyslexia. And I believe there's a spectrum where you're at in dyslexia. Mm-hmm. And so I now reveal that to people that I'm talking to, so they understand where I'm at. And you get me in a whiteboard and you get me a problem, and I'm a Mad Hatter, and it comes so fast that I could not have that ability without this, what I call now a blessing of dyslexia. So that's my theory. I'm working closely with the dyslexia group, or starting to work closely with the dyslexia group here in Las Vegas, and the first thing I told them was, your audience of parents with children that struggle with learning disability and dyslexia is wrong. Your audience should be the teachers, and having them adapt, because when you have an audience of 30, 40, you can't just teach the ones that get it. You have got to adapt, and entertainment's a big part of that. Walt Disney was a teacher. He did it through entertainment. And so I was telling this group that works with dyslexia children, focus on the teachers that are engaged, because the teachers' audience are the ones with dyslexia.
Yeah, they're the ones who interact with all day.
Yeah, I'm very passionate about getting that out there.
Alrighty, time to put you in the corner, Troy.
The corner? What do you mean the corner?
Yes, this is Katy'S Corner, and so what we're going to do is we are going to rapid fire some questions at you. Now you have to answer in one word to one sentence, so as little as possible. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Alrighty. So,
bring it.
First question. Describe your company, Boom Intelligence, in one word.
Unstuck.
Okay, unstuck. Ooh. Favorite food?
Pizza.
Ooh. What's your spirit animal?
Well, I've been called a lion, so we'll go with that.
All right. And then the current book you're reading?
Networking Isn't Working.
And if you had to live anywhere in the world forever, where would it be?
Forever. Probably the Big Island.
Ooh, oh, that's so gorgeous. And then what's one thing nobody knows about you?
I have completed my TED Talk in my bathroom. Completed the whole thing. I'm prepared for it. When they call, I will be ready. That's already been done, yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's awesome. I love it. Well, that's it for Katy'S Corner, you guys. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you around the corner.